Good day, this is Timmo Warner, continuing my walk across the state of San Andreas. As you can see, it's been quite a while since I last uploaded my journey, and the reason for that is, as soon as I finished my last video here at the top of Mount Chiliad, I discovered the secret entrance to a small cave, and in that cave I discovered the wise old man of Mount Chiliad. So basically I've spent the last year collecting his water, cooking meals for him, just practicing so I could also become as wise as him. And finally, a year after I started my I would call it training, but my association with the wise old man, he finally spoke to me, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, and this was just yesterday, it would be wise if I got down off this mountain. So I'm here to do just that. Please excuse my scruffy look. I'll get a haircut as soon as I can. Now, I was continuing down this road, but I've discovered it really doesn't go the way I want to. I want to be headed this way. In fact, here's where I'm going. So, I can either walk far further east than I really want to, or I can try and get down this mountain without dying. And I'm not too sure if that's possible to do in the direction I want to go. Okay, there's I've actually forgotten the name of it. The Alamo Sea, that's what that is. Oh, and there's Los Santos way in the distance. Oh, and there's a parachute. I am not going to cheat and go get that parachute. While I look for a way I might be able to start heading north, I'll answer the question that was left on episode 12 by Far Warner. And he said, not based on what I answered last episode, what video game world would I like to live in? He asked, what sort of game world would I like to see to just walk around and explore in and have fun? And basically, I don't think a game like that could be done with today's technology the way I would like it to be. What I would like to see is, I thought that shadow over there was a wolf for a moment. What I would like to see is a game that basically just reflects real life somewhere in the world, and you start in a town. It could be a small town or whatever. It doesn't need an overarching story at the beginning. You just start as a person, maybe freshly moved into town, and from there you do whatever you want. You can go places and try and get a job, or you could become a criminal and just try and locate guns and start holding places up, or you could just head off and wander in some direction, see how far you can get and what you can find. So it'd be somewhat like GTA here, where you can basically walk wherever you want, but not as violent unless you make it that way. For instance, if you, there should be some, I'm not getting a good feeling this way, there should be some laws in the world, and if you break them, you'll get in trouble and have people looking for you. And if you don't, then you could just explore. You could do a daily job and work at it, preferably not in real time. One of my big problems with Shenmue was you could get a job in it, but you had to spend so much time doing it. It felt more like, I have a real job, why am I doing another job in Shenmue? But if they could make some fun actions like
LJT here. You heard the expression, money doesn't grow on trees? Well, It doesn't grow in your money factory either.
I don't have a money factory. I'm a legitimate businessman of some sort. And there, just retracing that little bit I walked. Anyways, that was obviously a wrong number, so ignore what he said. Where was I? I'm really going along this road a lot more than I want. Oh, this looks promising. Okay. Okay, if I accidentally run a little bit going down this hill, it does not count, because there may be no other way to do it. But anyways, it would just be basically a real-life simulator with nice environments to explore, walk around, do your own thing. There can be lots of stories within that world, but nothing that you're forced to do. If you've seen the Rick and Morty episode where they put on the helmet and simulate an entire guy's life, sort of like that, but scaled way back in simulation, so it's more like a video game. So it'd just be a lot like what I'm doing now, but you can do whatever you want. And if you want to, and if you want to do a daily job, you're free to do it. And if you want to run wild and become a maniac, you're free to do it. And maybe doing that opens up some people that see you doing that. They contract you and search you out for that kind of work, and then you can get something going that way. But basically, it would have to encompass so many different possibilities that I don't think it could be done with today's technology and price point and just anticipating everything that people will want to do. I'm sure there are some probably text-based things which try and go along that route. And what in the world is causing that? I think it was just that little portion. I don't know how much longer light's going to hold out for me, but I'm sort of heading in the direction I want to go. So anyways, my short answer to what kind of game would I like to explore, something like this, where you can just walk around the world and do what you want, and there are things programmed into it to keep that interesting, no matter what it is that you want to do. Probably best to keep it single player, but if it was popular enough, maybe they could restrict the number of people in the world, or at least make it so it's basically you don't want to constantly run into someone that kills you over and over like it happened in multiplayer GTA. But at the same time, maybe they can make death a permanent thing, so no, probably best just to keep a single player, unless you really want that thing. Then it always just seems to devolve into people going crazy and seeing what they can do to one another to ruin each other's days. But if you're into that, go for it. But I'd rather do this. Concentrate on a solid single player experience with lots of options. Problem with that is the way every game company is going these days. I don't know. I'll take a peek at the top of this and see what it looks like on the other side. Another parachute, which I'm not going to take. The way game companies are going these days, seems like no large game with a huge budget like that and hundreds of workers and thousands of hours, probably tens of thousands of hours of time put into it, are willing to just put out a game that you buy and enjoy. It all comes down to microtransactions and where am I and how did I get here? It comes down to Didn't mean to run there. Comes down to microtransactions and loot boxes, and that would pretty much be the antithesis of the kind of game I want to see. DLC to make the world bigger, sure, but not constant interruptions into your play. Oh, why is this getting so steep? So that's the kind of game I'd like to explore. This comes a long way towards it, just letting you walk across an entire scaled down state. The state in Los Santos, GTA Los Santos, is much bigger, and as they said, contained too many dead areas, but I really like those wide expanses where there is really nothing, because it made it feel much more like a real place. It's much tougher to go anywhere in this much better looking and playing Los Santos, but it is in reality much smaller. There's a lot more detail to it, a lot more to see, but size-wise it just feels more confined. That said, it is still pretty spectacular, and I love everything you can do with it. So, I'm back after a year with the wise old man. I totally agree. Whoa, don't run. I totally agree with him. It was wise to get down off this mountain. Not sure I should have spent a year to find out that wisdom, but it was an experience. Oops. Okay, good enough. Stop doing those little hops. I put this suit and tie and everything away the whole time I was with them, so at least it's looking nice. Okay. If you didn't notice, I'm in a solo session here. I usually play in multiplayer just for the chance I might run into somebody. Just makes it a little more interesting for me. Nothing bad's ever come of it, but I was having some disconnection errors, and I thought doing a solo session might ease up on that a little bit. And oh, why? Can I get down here? Remember, falling is not running. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Okay, as I was saying, falling is not running, so that does not break my vow to walk across the state of Los Santos. Oh, look at this. Looking very promising. Ooh, fireflies. I really miss the wildlife and some extra things that you can find in the single-player game of Grand Theft Auto when you play in multiplayer like this, but I understand they had to get rid of some stuff to be able to handle everyone and their vehicles and weapons and stuff all running around at once. But it just made the world a little more real and interesting to walk across. Okay. Getting close-ish to civilization now, it looks like. So once I get down there, I can follow the road or the coast north. And looks like that's where I'm going to be heading. Don't know if I'm going to get there next episode maybe, or maybe 2 or 3 more, but we shall see as we go along. So, as always, and beginning fresh now since I'm out of questions, if you have something you'd like me to answer as I walk along, please leave it in the comments below. I'm surprised if anybody will even see this after a year's absence, but if you do, hopefully you enjoyed it and glad to see it back. I plan on finishing this series soon, and after that I did have a plan to try walking across the world of Red Dead Redemption, but I see Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming spring of next year. Maybe I'll just wait for that, because I expect it will look much nicer than would walking across Red Dead Redemption, which was made for the Xbox 360. So, again, if you like this, feel free to leave me like on the video, leave me any questions that you'd like me to answer, or just comments about the series in general. And as always, this is Timmo Warner, wishing you a good day.